Welcome back to the channel, guys, and a special welcome to the Savage family. You guys are my favorite fans. Don't tell my other fans. I know them in real life and they're really cool people. The Savage Bros, Savage Dad. Is there another one? Anyway, it's a few YouTube channels and I watch their live streams every now and then. They're friends of mine. Anyway, today we have a daily task, and we're grinding out daily tasks to unlock a real M10. Well, it's not quite an M10. They let the Brits have it, and they just couldn't help but tinker with it. They took the perfectly good 75 off of it, and crammed a, what's that, oh geez. Is it a 17 pounder? Final answer gun into it. I really should know, but it's been a while since I played my British tanks. And today we're not delivering tea, we're delivering freedom with the B-25J. Our task is to get ground kills, or surface kills I should say, with a bomber. And of course that means we're going to be hunting AI ground targets. And the B-25J is a fun plane to fly. Because you get a bomber spawn, you're able to get into the action quickly, even ahead of some attackers. And this is the same plane as the attacker model of PBJ that was issued to the Navy, but the nose segment has been swapped out for a bomber's position instead of varying numbers of 50 cals and or a 75mm cannon. I know, America, right? Ah, these planes are so good. So, way back in the day I did a PBJ video, and just a couple of days ago I did a B-25 video, and I wasn't planning on making another one, but this match turned out so well that I decided to share it with you guys. I think I'll title this something along the lines of accidentally epic. So, with that minor spoiler out of the bag, as it were, I've still got a little pirate left in me. I'm feeling a lot better after having the flu, by the way. Thank you guys. And Tank Baby is recovering as well. She's been doing a little bit of coughing, but her nose is clearing up and her spirits are very high. She just knocked down the baby gate and made her way into the kitchen and was pulling all of the clean dishes out of the dishwasher, and I prepped the dishwasher ahead of time to where I'd be able to just let her go in there and play. I took all the sharp stuff out and left the fun stuff in because I know she likes to go in there and get into everything. And yes, I'm that kind of parent. I like to encourage my daughter to explore and to find new missions for herself, and she's definitely the kind of girl that likes to do that. Now, we've given ourselves a mission and we're just ignoring there's an enemy fighter on our tail, so we dropped our bombs and now there's no enemy fighter on our tail. We really did nothing to address the fact that we were being attacked. Does this seem a little bit different than the gameplay you're used to seeing? Oh, yes! Yes, it does! I do stuff. I defensive fly. And defensive flying is something that I've sort of picked up slowly by playing different planes, but it's not something that you pick up by playing the B-25, because often your best response in the B-25 is just to fly in a straight line and let your rear gunners have a good shot at the enemy. So we're going for that now, and we've gotten some good hits on him, and then he gets taken down. If you're going to engage a B-25, do not, I repeat, do not linger on their tail. They have so much armor and a durable airframe that they're able to take quite a few hits before going down, and with something in the area of 4 50 cals pointing in your direction with 2 very motivated Americans behind the controls, well, things might not end up so well for you. So we did a little bit of focusing on that one. We did a token amount of defending ourselves, but really It's the B-25 itself and the relatively low battle rating we're at, where you're more likely to encounter people that are going to attack you the wrong way. Also, we're flying at quite low altitude, which limits the options of an enemy aggressor, but that's no excuse. If you want to take down the B-25 when it's flying at low altitude, come in from the side, and as you approach your target, the longer you stay on target, here we go trying to defend ourselves a little bit, but a little wiggle isn't enough to keep our engine from getting lit on fire, and this is not going to end well for us. So what was I talking about? If you want to attack the B-25, attack from the side. They can often survive one engine fire, but as soon as you take down an engine, they're going to lose a lot of power and mobility. Alright, let's see the next battle. Well, I mean, maybe there's time for me to brag about the results a little bit. Like I said, good match, but in the B-25J, you'll find a lot of good matches. So if you want to take a break and just enjoy attacking ground targets, and when somebody gets on your tail, you can just let your gunners handle it, B-25J. I'm not saying that you're going to have a good time as a ground attacker if that's what you want to do, but it'll be easy and simple, relaxing if you don't mind getting inevitably destroyed. Again, you're not going to win battles here, but you'll be able to do a lot at the beginning of a battle, and that can be fun. Oh man, this really takes me back to my noob days. So, when I started playing War Thunder and getting into aircraft because I wanted something to support my tanks, and here you see us going at, we're going to get just about to the rip speed and then ease off on the engines. We're pushing this plane as hard as we can go to get to the ground targets as soon as possible. But as I was saying, this takes me back to my days, my early days of War Thunder. I was very impressed with the B-25. Like, when I first started playing, I knew that my, piloting, my dogfighting skills were going to be garbage. So as soon as I got out of biplanes, I was like, let's go for the bombers. And I would just go and try and bomb bases, and I wanted the most 50 cals that I could possibly have, and I see the B-25s, and I was like, oh yeah. And I had a lot of fun in them, even in the early days, again because the plane sort of defends itself. Your gunners are pretty good and they're in good positions, and enemies often end up lingering on your tail and just getting shredded to pieces. And even as a new player to the game who's developed no skills, the B-25 was fun to play. I moved on to other bombers and I was like, this is boring. People are telling you to climb. Like, why? There's nobody up here. It's just, I just spend 10 minutes and bomb a couple of bases, and then, yay! No, I didn't even see an enemy fighter. Hooray! Or you get intercepted by a Focke-Wulf, and you learn the meaning of pain. So, after the B-25, what I'm saying is, B-25 and its variants, very fun for even an unskilled player, and for someone who has taken the time to develop skills in the game. Not saying that I'm especially talented, but I've put the time in. And, by the way, War Thunder, Are You Better Than Me? Little thing that they put out says that I'm like in the top 97%, so that's kind of cute. But I guess that's just because I spent so much time in the game. Also, my favorite vehicle was the IS-6, so that could also explain it. Please, no hate. I wanted to grind out the Russian tree, I swear, that's the only reason. I don't play it anymore. What were we talking about? Right, the B-25, a very fun plane for new players to the game, and for old salts like me. I guess I'm sort of an old salt now. I feel old. Like when I stand up I go, ugh! And that started like years ago, so there you go. Also, on the few times where I have to like jog, I feel like the counter wobble of my dad belly, and I'm like, when did this happen? Anyway, for veterans like me of the game, it's like a little vacation, and you stop trying to win matches, you stop caring about destroying enemy fighters, and you just ground strike. You just go have fun, shoot bunches of machine guns at enemy targets that blow up gloriously. And if somebody gets on your tail, you've got a pretty good chance of shooting them down if they stick around. And you just get to fly at low altitude. You just stop. You just stop doing all those things that experienced players are used to doing, and you just relax and be silly for a while. You know, like, look at this. I'm just a mama duck, and all my little ducklings are just coming in to say hi, and also I lost a wing. So there's that. And sure, we only got a couple of ground kills there, but like I said, this is just a vacation. Anyway, next map. And here you see me wiggle in the plane to lose a little bit of airspeed. Now keep in mind, I'm not trying to show you how to do well with the B-25J, I'm not trying to show you how to win matches. This is just how to rack up a bunch of ground targets quickly, because keep in mind, our mission is to get, I think it was somewhere in the area of like 12 surface target destructions in a bomber, and whenever I see that mission, whenever it's destroy X number of ground targets in a bomber, it's B-25J time, because with your 50 cals and your bombs you can rack up the kills quickly. With the sturdy airframe of your plane, you can get into combat rapidly and absorb some damage. You can sort of ignore everything and just go straight for the ground targets and feel good about it at the same time. You're at a relatively low battle rating, so you don't have to worry as much about getting intercepted, and all in all, the B-25J just sits at a nice spot for being a bomber that can destroy ground targets. Now, Hoppa, he is incredible in the, what is it, Heinkel 111, I think, bomber? I think it's Heinkel, or is it Messer? I can't remember. But it's a something or other 111. And he makes the plane sing. So if you want to see some amazing ground pounding with a bomber, Hoppa, H-O-P-P-A. I think he's Italian or something. He's a pretty nice guy too. And this is not that kind of video. This is not a maestro in a finely tuned instrument. This is an aggressive ground pound American who's flying a plane that was really meant to fly unopposed against ground targets that would be susceptible to 50 caliber fire. Something that well isn't really made for winning matches in War Thunder, but in reality it was a fearsome and powerful and great teamwork kind of airframe. And if you had B-25s flying overhead, well, if they were your B-25s, then you cheered because they were delivering Ma Deuce to the masses. But if they were enemy B-25s, you hid in your hole and you didn't get out until they went away. I read Samurai by Saburo Sakai, and he was a fantastic, a larger-than-life Japanese ace fighter pilot, and he tells of when B-25s came zooming in. They were flying at low altitude and nobody saw him coming until it was too late. No pilots were in the air, and here he was stuck on the ground, a fighter ace, hiding in craters, in bomb craters. And then he got tired of hiding, so he kicked one of the army personnel off of their anti-aircraft positions. I don't know, it's probably just a machine gun that can point up, you know? And he talked about how he was leading the targets, and this is IRL sparkles. He put round after round into these enemy B-25s that were flying overhead, but they sparkled and sputtered, and that machine gun fire was not sufficient to critically damage these fearsome airplanes. And I'm sure he longed to be in the sky where his Japanese 20 mils would actually work, because IRL Japanese 20 mils were not garbage as they are in the game. But that's a different point entirely. Suffice to say, all you people here are in grave danger, so come on! Oh man, don't tell my Sunday school kids that I'm a Tenacious D fan. I listened to them long ago, but man, there's some people that know how to have fun. Speaking of which, the B-25J is one of those planes where you can just have fun. So I guess I'm sort of running out of things to say, because again, I'm not teaching you how to fly this thing here. But I guess while we're at it, keep in mind that the B-25 is a heavy bird. This girl is made to fly at low altitude, or made to be capable, I should say, at low altitude. And even at relatively low air speeds, you have the wing surface to maintain flight, but your aircraft has quite a bit of momentum, so don't fly this thing like a typical attacker that has a little bit more engine power. You know, don't fly this like an AD-4, don't fly this like an AD-2. Fly this more like an IL-2. Very similar in the way that it moves. Turns a little bit slower, I think, and of course, larger plane with double the engine, but sort of the same idea. You're big, you're heavy, plan your attack runs. You can see how I'm moving, that's pretty adequate. And then if you do decide to defensive fly, try and think more in a two-dimensional defensive flight, and what I mean is use your skids, and I talked a little bit about that in another video, and I think I was in the B-25 in that one as well. What is a skid? Use your rudder and your ailerons, pull one direction with the rudder and tilt the plane the opposite direction, and you'll perform a skid. And that's a good defensive maneuver for any bomber, and it's especially useful in the B-25. But when you are pulling off your defensive maneuvers, keep in mind that you are going to be at low altitude, so also keep your finger near that elevator button, and once your plane starts taking damage, keep the wiggling to a minimum. Wiggle, 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 boo, 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 wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Keep the wiggle to a minimum. You're not going to be able to protect yourself effectively once your plane is damaged. Just try and keep it in the air. See if you can get just a few more hits on target. So we managed to pick up one fighter kill, which is, I'm sure, helpful to our team. Took out a bevy of ground targets, and we ended up completing our mission with that one. So that was our goal for the day. It was nice having you guys in the co-pilot seat for this one, and we'll catch you in another episode of War Thunder. Bye bye. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.